you need to know that it's not cheap to travel to Belgium. Unfortunately, it's quite expensive. Hello! In this video I'm gonna explain everything you need to know before going to Belgium. I live in Brussels, so I think I have a lot of knowledge that I can share with you. Also, I wanna apologize because this is my first video in English. I'm not fluent, I have a bad accent, so sorry for that. I think that the most important is that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, let's start with the first point, which is the budget. Is it expensive to travel to Belgium? First, you need to know that in Belgium we use euros, and second, you need to know that it's not cheap to travel to Belgium. Unfortunately, it's quite expensive. Even for us, since COVID, it's really expensive. For example, the food is quite expensive, so if you stay for a long term in Belgium, I recommend to go to the supermarket to buy groceries and to cook, because it's the cheapest and you will save money. The cheapest supermarkets in Belgium are Lidl, Aldi and Colruyt. I think it's the best is to cook. If you have more money, you can also go to the restaurants. Have in mind that for one person it starts from 15 to 20 euros for one meal, so it's quite expensive. I don't go every day to the restaurants. Accommodation is also really expensive. If you travel on a budget, the cheapest is to go to a hostel. For one bed it's like 20 to 30 euros. You also have many Airbnbs in the country, but I will talk about that later. To move inside Belgium, you can take transport, you can take the bus, train, etc. and you also have to pay for that. I think if you take the bus, for example, it's from 2 to 3 euros only for one way. So kind of expensive if you take it more than once a day. And yeah, if you do some activities in Belgium, you also have to pay. Museums, for example, are not free most of the time. Remember that you can pay almost everywhere with your bank card in Belgium. It means that you don't really need cash most of the time. That's really practical. Second point, the food. I love it. So like I said, it's cheaper to cook when you travel to Belgium than to go to the restaurants. But I mean, if you stay only for one weekend or 1 week, go to the restaurants, it can be also nice. But have in mind that it will cost you some money. For breakfast, we mostly eat sweet. Okay, some people don't eat sweet, but I would say most of Belgian people eat something sweet. So we have baguette, croissant, bread. We eat a lot of breads. As national dishes, we have, of course, French fries. I'm sure you know it. We also have, we have many, but I will put some over here. We have croquettes de crevettes, vol au vent, pêche au thon, and many others. Most of the time it's with meat or fish, but if you're a vegetarian, it's not difficult to find something to eat in Belgium. I am a vegetarian and I can easily eat here. If you go to the restaurants, there are always veg alternatives, so don't worry about that. Those were like the national dishes, but most of Belgian people eat food from everywhere. In Belgium you can eat Asian food, Indian foods, Italian foods. We have so many different from everywhere that it's like possible to eat whatever you want. We really have food from all over the world. I think it's also because so many people from other countries live in Belgium, and so you can find any food you want. That's kind of nice. Oh yeah, Belgium is also really famous for the chocolates. I'm sure you know it, but yeah, we have the best chocolates. We also have really good waffles. I recommend to try. About alcohol, Belgium is famous for the beers, so we have plenty of beers that are made in the country, like Castile, Kriek. Castile is my favorite one. But you can easily find wine or cocktails also. You need to know that alcohol is not cheap here, it's quite expensive. For example, for beer, it's like 2 to 4, 5 euros if you go to a bar. For wine, it's like 3 to 5 euros also for one glass. And for cocktails, it starts from 10 euros. So yeah, that's like expensive. Third, accommodation. Okay, I can't say a lot about that because I live here, so I have my own apartments, but I can tell you that the cheapest is to go to a hostel. There are many hostels in Belgium, mostly in the big cities like Antwerp, Brussels. I think it's also the best way if you want to meet people. You go to a hostel and for sure you will meet other travelers. So that's the cheapest, but if you are a group, the better I think is to book an Airbnb. You have plenty of them in Belgium. It's really easy. I think the price starts around maybe 100 euros, sometimes less for one night. If you have a bigger budget, of course you can go to a hotel. There are many hotels in Belgium. It's more expensive, but I mean, if you have the money, why not? If you go to Belgium during summers, you also have camping, so you can camp if you like it. Oh yeah, important is most of the time better to book in advance, like on Booking for example, your hotel or your room, so you are sure that you have somewhere to sleep. If you have other advices about accommodations in Belgium, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. Fourth, transports. Most of Belgian people use cars to move inside Belgium, but if you stay for like 1 week, even a weekend, I don't recommend to have a car. It's not really useful. Why is it not useful? Because we have many trains. So to go from one city to another, you can take the train. And I think it's the easiest way to move inside the country. Okay, it's not cheap, but you have many discounts. For example, if you are young, from 12 to 25, you can have like a young ticket and it's 6.6 euros. If you stay for a long term in Belgium, you can also buy a 10-way ticket. You also have many buses in Belgium. Really important to know, you don't have the same companies inside the country. So if you are in the north of Belgium, you will have the Lane. If you are in Brussels, you will have La Stib. And if you are in the south, you will have La Tech. I know it can be a bit confusing when you arrive, but it doesn't really matter. Just you need to know that you have to buy a new ticket if you take another company. You can buy those tickets at the bus stop, but you can also buy it online. I will put all the websites, don't worry, under the video. Bicycle is also really famous in Belgium, mostly in the north of the country. If you are coming when it's like nice weather, for example during summer, you can also use a bicycle to move inside the city. For example, in Brussels, you can book a bicycle for 1 day or only to go from one place to another. If you like it, why not? If you go out during the night and there is no more bus or metro to go back, of course you can use Uber or Each. There are plenty of them. It's quite expensive, but it can be useful sometimes. 5. The languages. Okay, this is the spicy moment, be ready. In Belgium we have 3 official languages: French, German and Dutch. What you need to remember is that in the north of Belgium we mostly speak Flemish, in the south we mostly speak French, and in Brussels we speak a bit of everything. And there is a small part in east of Belgium where people speak German. So in Belgium there is like a mix of all of that. So some people speak Dutch, some people speak French, some people speak German, but that's like... But a lot of people also speak English because there are many people coming from other countries to work in Brussels because it's the capital of Europe. All of that to say that if you only speak English and you are planning to visit Belgium, don't worry. Most of the people who are living here speak English, so you won't have any problem to communicate with the people, especially if you go to the main cities like Brussels. I mean, I think in Brussels everyone at least understands English. Also, there are many expats who only speak English and who are living in Belgium. 6. The weather. That's what I hate the most in Belgium, it's the weather, because it's mostly cloudy and it rains a lot. We have 4 seasons in Belgium. We have the spring, it's from the end of March until the end of June. The weather is okay. I think it's a good period to come to Belgium. It's from 10 until maybe 20-25 degrees. After that we have summer, so from the end of June until the end of September. For me, it's the best period in Belgium. The weather is mostly nice and it's from 15 degrees until 25, sometimes 30 degrees. After that we have the autumn. It's from the end of September until the end of December. It's quite cold and cloudy. I don't really like it, but some people do. It's from 5 degrees until 15 degrees. After that we have the winter, so from the end of December until the end of March. It's from 0 until 10 degrees. It's sometimes snowing, but it depends where you live in Belgium. For example, in Brussels it doesn't really snow. It can maybe snow for 1 day or 2, but that's it. We don't have beautiful snow. It's just cold and rainy. I would recommend to visit Belgium from May until the end of September. I think it's when the weather is the best, but it's also the touristic period, so it will be more crowded. But for me, it's the best moment to visit the country. And which clothes do you need to wear when you visit Belgium? It really depends when you are coming. If you come to Belgium during summer, then you don't need to wear warm clothes. But if you come during winter, of course you need like a really warm jacket, gloves, etc. So yeah, it just depends the time of the year. 7. The phone. If you want to visit Belgium and you come from the European Union, you don't need to buy a new SIM card. You can use your phone from your country. For example, if you come from Spain, you can use your phone in Belgium like if you were in Spain. So that's really easy, and you can use your data and you won't get charged. If you come from outside of Europe, you will need to buy a SIM card if you want to have data. But I think that if you only stay for one weekend or 1 week, it's maybe not needed because you have free Wi-Fi in many places. For example, if you go to the restaurant, to a shopping center, you will have free Wi-Fi, so maybe it's not needed. I don't know, it depends on you. 8. The documents you need to travel to Belgium. If you come from a country who is part of the European Union, you don't need anything. That's really easy. You don't even need a passport, you just need your ID. If you come from another country outside of European Union, you will need to buy a passport and maybe a visa. I can't really help you about that because I don't know where you come from, but you can check online and you will find the documents that you need. About COVID, you don't need to have a vaccination or to do a COVID test before coming. 9. Safety. Is it safe to travel to Belgium? I would say that it's relatively safe. Of course, you have to be careful, especially if you're a woman and you go out during the night, but I've never had any problem in Brussels. I heard some stories, so I know that you really have to be careful. Depends where you are, but for example, going back to your place during the night is not always safe, so maybe sometimes it's better to take a Uber, but otherwise I would say it's quite safe. Don't worry. 10. What is it to see in Belgium? There are so many things to see in Belgium. I think I could do another video about the best places, but I will already give you like my favorite places in Belgium. First, I think if you only have some days in Belgium, spend at least 2 or 3 days in Brussels. It's the biggest city and you have so many things to see and to visit. Go to the city center, go to Grand Place, visit some museums. There are plenty of museums in Brussels. You also have many gardens where you can just walk, do a picnic. If you have time, you can go see the Atomium. You have a lot of restaurants, you have a lot of bars, so I think you can do everything you want in Brussels. So for me, that's really the city you should see if you come to Belgium. But of course, there are many other nice cities. For example, Antwerp, Ghent, Bruges. What I like in Belgium is that it's really small, so you can easily go from one place to another. It doesn't take time. You have a big history, so you have many places to see, many museums and many things to learn. You also have nature. You can go for a walk in the forest, but you can also go to the sea. I don't really like the sea in Belgium, but still there is the sea, so if you want to go to the beach, you can go to the beach. Okay, I think that's it for the video. I hope that you learned things, that this video was useful for you. If you have questions about Belgium or if you have other things you want to say, don't hesitate to comment, to like and to subscribe. I wish you a lovely trip to Belgium.